Welcome back to The Last Lap. My name is Jimmy, and I'm joined by my co-host Matthew, as always. And today we got a few things of breaking news for you guys. But before we hop into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like this video if you like this kind of content. And then make sure to follow us on Instagram in between videos too, because we post a lot of stuff on there too. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Our first topic of today's video is about Jordan Anderson. So he raced in the Truck Series, but now he has his own Xfinity team. So the question I'm going to ask is, are you surprised by this move? And then what expectations do you have for that team next year? So I'm going to let Matthew go ahead and answer that question.
I was surprised by it. I was expecting him to be in Truck Series full time as usual, like he's been doing the past few years. But it's good for him. He's moving on to a different series. For my expectations, I don't see really anything spectacular happening. I'm sorry, but it's he hasn't. I mean, he didn't really perform well on the trucks in his own equipment, so I don't expect him to be much better in the Xfinity series. Maybe even worse. But I'm hoping he'll do good at least. Maybe he'll be up there, especially the super speedway races. So we'll see how it goes for him this season.
Yeah, we're not sure if what manufacturer the car is, or if he has any alliances or anything with his Xfinity team. So without any of that knowledge, I don't really have that high of expectations either for that next year. Our next topic in today's video is going to be again for the Xfinity series, but this time it's revolving around Joe Gibbs Racing. So in the number 54 car, Dillon and Gibbs are two of the drivers that are announced to run that car part-time next year. That's pretty much the car that they run part-time to try and win the owner's championship with and all that, because usually Kyle Busch races in that car, Denny Hamlin, etc. So my question is, do we think that these two drivers will help expand that program and make that car run well and compete next year? So I'm going to let Matthew go ahead and answer that question first.
As for Gibbs being in that car, I think it's going to be great for him. He's still relatively young and growing more of his skills. He performed really well part-time in the ARCA. He's going to be running full-time this year, so I'm expecting him to run that ARCA championship since there's not really a lot of competition down there. As for Xfinity Series, I don't expect him to do spectacular off the bat. Keep in mind, this is a much more difficult series than he's been in, but I think he'll catch on pretty quickly. As for Dillon, though, I had mixed emotions about it when I first heard about him. Like, why? I mean, he hasn't really done anything spectacular other than winning that one Xfinity race and almost winning the truck championship that one year. But other than that, he hasn't done anything spectacular like his brother has. At least his brother's won the Daytona 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 and also the Texas race last year. But we'll see how he does. It is a Gibbs car, but I don't really expect anything spectacular out of that one.
Yeah, so for Gibbs, I think it's a great opportunity for him to be able to run part-time in the Xfinity series. I don't think he has any experience in Xfinity yet, so it'll be good for this year for him to just kind of run a few races, probably short tracks, I would assume. That's probably the best start for him. But I think it's a good way for him to get involved in the Xfinity series, get used to the car and all that kind of stuff. And he might potentially have his own ride in 2022. And for Dillon, like you said, I don't really have that high of expectations just because of how he ran in Xfinity before. He only had that one win at Indianapolis, and he was in RCR equipment there, which is really good. Might not be as good as not KPM, Joe Gibbs Racing equipment. Might not be as good as Joe Gibbs Racing equipment, but it's like if he couldn't run well and win races and championships in RCR equipment, I don't really see how he could do that in JGR equipment, but he might prove me wrong. And it'll be interesting to see how Dillon and Gibbs do with that car in 2021. Our next topic in today's video is one that has been debated for a while, and that is that Kyle Larson finally has his first official sponsor and paint scheme for 2021. The sponsor is Nation's Guard. It might have a tie to Hendrick Motorsports and Rick Hendrick. We're not 100% sure, but he finally has his first sponsor. So our question is going to be, what do we think is the next step for Larson and Hendrick Motorsports after this announcement?
Well, I'm pretty damn sure that it is a Hendrick sponsor from what I've heard. But other than that, congratulations, you got a sponsor. Now you got to run well, because if you don't, then there's going to be a lot of trouble for that team and for himself. Since he's still not really sponsor attractive right now because of what happened, of course. Well, I'm hoping he'll do well. I'm pretty sure he will. But you got always gotta think of what could happen if he doesn't perform well or even win a race. So a lot of pressure is gonna be on that team.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good that they finally got that first sponsor out of the way. Maybe it's a sign for other sponsors that since one sponsor signed with him, that'll bring other sponsors in too. That being like, oh, hey, he has a sponsor, so maybe we can join in too. But that could happen, and he's probably also going to have to prove that he can run well and perform well. Like you said, if he wins a few races, runs really well, also maintains his attitude and doesn't say anything he shouldn't say anymore and all that kind of stuff, more sponsors should come his way. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing what other sponsors Kyle Larson could get this year. Our final topic in today's video is probably the biggest news that we've heard in the past week, and that is that NBCSN is going to be shutting down at some point throughout the 2021 season. There was some info leaked out that they would close through some part of the season. It wasn't announced what date or what time through the season they would shut down. But basically, NBCSN is a subordinate of NBC. NBCSN usually covers most of the Xfinity races and then a few of the Cup races. So what's going to happen this season is the USA Network is going to be taking over whatever races NBCSN doesn't cover. And then as far as next year, we're not 100% sure yet. Everything could just go to NBC, or they might need to bring in another place to cover some races, but we're not sure yet. So the question is this surprising? And do we think this could lead to races being streamed in the future? So once again, I'm going to let Matthew go first.
Well, for the initial reaction of that news, I was shocked. I did not expect that. It was crazy considering how new they were still. They've been around for like 5 years, 6 years. So it's kind of weird. Moving to the USA Network, that's a little concerning because I never heard anybody saying, oh, I'm watching USA Network tonight. It's not really well known, especially for this generation. I mean, he's only really known for WWE. So for WWE fans and NASCAR fans, that's fun. That's going to be fun for y'all. But I never really heard much about USA Network either. So that's a little concerning, but I'm sure it'll be fine in the future. For the streaming services, I have a problem with that. Because some of these streaming services, they're going to want all that. They're going to want this money. So you better make those races free with ads in it. If you have to put ads in it, just do that. Do not make us pay $7, $10 a month just to watch a NASCAR race. Like, come on now. This isn't The Mandalorian. This is a NASCAR race. So don't do that, please. To be like the other sports network, like the NFL, NBA, it's supposed to be free. So stay like that. If you ever move on streaming services, make it free. But other than that, do not mess with streaming services if you're going to pay for that. Nope.
Yeah, my initial reaction was pretty similar. It was pretty shocking since, like you said, NBC and NBCSN are pretty new. They've had some pretty good moments. I really like what they did at Darlington the past few years for Throwback Weekend when they had like Kyle Petty on it and Ned Jarrett and all of them in the booth. I thought that was really cool that they brought them back for one or two of the Throwback Darlington races. I thought that was really cool. And then they also had some funny moments too. They had Dale Jr. at Chicago a few years ago with the whole slide job moment.
Trying to take the lead away.
Slide job! Almost.
The momentum. The 18.
And then Rick Allen at Watkins Glen saying aggressive goes around.
Coming up on the final turn. Martin Truex Jr. is going to be aggressive. Denny Hamlin out front. Aggressive goes around. That's right, Mark Truex Jr. spins. Denny Hamlin will win at the Glen.
and all that kind of stuff. But they've had some pretty good moments and funny moments. So it'll be interesting to see if they'll end up transitioning over to USA Network to cover those races. We're not 100% sure what that's going to look like yet, but of course we'll let you guys know. And as far as streaming goes, I don't really see it as a possibility for the future. I mean, anything is possible, and it very well could lead to streaming in the future. I know NBC has Peacock and all of that, but with NBC possibly going out the door relatively soon, I don't really see Peacock being an option. I mean, it could be, but I highly doubt it. It'll be interesting to see if they do bring someone else in, like if they bring ESPN back or something. Hopefully not. ESPN didn't do that good. But it'll be interesting to see if like they bring somebody else back, like ESPN, TNT, whatever, or if they give Fox a few more races, which I'm a big fan of. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what will happen with that next year. But as far as this year's concerned, there's no need to worry. All the races will be on TV. But after this year, we're not exactly sure what the future holds. That is all for today's episode of The Last Lap. It might have been a little bit of a short episode for you guys, but just because the news was a little bit slow this week doesn't mean it's going to be slowing down anytime soon, because the Daytona 500 is coming up really quick, and Speed Weeks is coming up quick. They're going to have action like Tuesday through Sunday, the week of the Daytona 500. So there'll be a lot of stuff to cover up until then. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.